Ja moin, ich sitze hier mit Ville Valo, wir sind bei Rock am Ring 2023. Der Gute zeichnet uns ein bisschen was und ich werde ein bisschen mit ihm quatschen. Ville, thanks for taking time. It's pretty late.
Thank you for the crayons.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they will keep me awake until it's stage time, I'm sure.
How has your day been? I mean, it's pretty late. It's after 10.
We played really late yesterday, so I think we played around 12:30 at night.
Oh.
With the last band playing, so it's incredibly late, especially these days that you're playing around 9 and all that, but it's good for a change. Yeah. And there were still a lot of people, so they hadn't turned into complete zombies. When you play in Finland, like the Finnish festivals, people, at least back in the day, they used to drink so much that if you play after midnight or whatever, most of them will be passed out.
Oh,
You might have a 20,000 zombies half passed out, but it's it defeats the purpose.
Yeah, okay. What do you think about your slot today? I mean, you're playing against the headliners, Kings of Leon, and also Evanescence, maybe. I think so.
I think Evanescence is playing a bit later.
Yeah,
they're playing super late today. Well, I'm happy to be here. Good lineup for the festival as always.
Yeah,
all over the place, which is a good thing. Also, Detours and Hosen, are they playing tomorrow? Or
yes, yeah.
And Foo Fighters played yesterday.
They played yesterday.
Tenacious D was today. Yes. So it's a good festival, but it's always been a great festival. I remember back in the day seeing Queens of Stone Age for the first time, seeing My Chemical Romance for the first time.
Cool.
That was a long time ago when they especially Queens. I was a huge fan of Caius.
Oh, so, yeah.
So and I saw Caius once in Helsinki, and then having the opportunity of seeing Queens with Nick Olivieri on when the first album came out. That was really, really great. It was a tent, and actually me and Miguel, the bass player of him, we were right in front of where all the photographers were. We loved it. My ears are still ringing, but a lot of good memories. It's a good festival. So it seems every year, at least every time I've been here, now with the solo thing and back in the day with him, it's always been something interesting going on, and.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like 13 years since your last appearance here.
I haven't been counting, to be honest with you.
I did.
Sweet, thank you. Thank God somebody does that for me. I'm going to turn into my mom soon. But I remember we played the May stage back in 2001, and that was one of the biggest. I think it was the biggest crowd we've ever played to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I think it was like 70 or 80,000, and that was when. I think we had Deep Shadows and Brilliant Highlights. Our second album had just come out, or our first single of the album or something. But it was a pretty mind-blowing experience. Yeah.
Cool. As I said before, we had a talk like back in December, I think.
So we did, yeah.
Which was before Neon Noir, the release, and since then you have been on tour. You have released the songs, of course.
This is our 62nd gig.
Really?
Yeah. Not that
so
I'm
counting.
No, but I have people counting it for me.
Oh, okay,
but,
cool.
I call them the counters.
The counters.
But there's been a lot of stuff going on. We toured Europe, and we toured North America, and we're going back there after the summer. It's a lot of gigs, but it's good to be back, and then it's nice. It's a bit more full on than what we did with him. I remember back in the day, people started breeding, they started having kids and stuff. So it was always the sort of like compromising because people wanted to be back home, taking care of their babies and so forth.
Yeah.
So, but with me being the only boss this time around, I'm like being super tight and just, pushing it that we tour as much as we can because it's one of those things. I think at least myself, I'm in that age. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. So I'm trying to, make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
If there's a chance to do so, and it's been great so far.
Cool.
So,
are you happy with how the people perceive you as a solo artist now?
To be honest with you, I haven't been really thinking about it too much.
Okay.
I think the best way to sort of like vibe it up is to see the expressions of people's faces in the audience. I think, but even that keeps on changing. It's been quite interesting that there's been a lot of people at some gigs knowing the hymn songs more, but then there's been people who actually know the new songs better, and a lot of people who are very young.
Yeah.
Well, what I consider young, like in their early 20s or something like that. So that's pretty special. It seems that it's like the flared trousers. Every 20 years, they come in trendy again. You know, the same thing with that kind of racket. You know, it's been 20 plus years since Razorblade Romance with Join Me in Death and all that stuff. So I think, you know, this is our time again, you know, to bring in the gloomy rock and roll. And we're not the only ones. You know, The Cure is doing their thing, and Bauhaus was doing their thing. So I think it's a good time for gloomy stuff. And it's also, you know, the situation in the world, COVID, and then the war and everything. I think people need catharsis through music. The worst things are the more heavy stuff and more dark stuff you need to listen to just to be able to, you know, survive the everyday life, you know, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, man.
And
which songs have been working best for you so far?
Yeah, once again, it's like talking about your baby, so you can't really, you know, throw them out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
It's depending on the night, but here, like yesterday, I think "Join Me in Death" was a big one because it was a big hit here in Germany, and it's been a long time, so it has this sort of vintagey appeal. To of the new songs, there's a song, the title track "Neo Noir," that's working quite nice, and it's always a bit limited as well because we're not playing a super long set, so trying to condense the last 25-30 years to 60 minutes is always a bit of a challenge, but trying to do our best. You know? It's all good, you know.
Yeah. If the internet doesn't lie, then
which it never does. Yeah.
you haven't been playing a Wicked game, which seems to be at the moment the most streamed song by him.
It could be, but I thought that'd be fair for Tenacious D.
Oh.
They just released that as a single.
Yeah. What do you think of the version?
I haven't heard it. I just heard about it. You know, I thought that, you know, it's Wicked Game was such an essential piece for him. It was the sort of like one of the first songs that we played together as a band that helped us out to figure out the sound of the band. It's usually easier to figure out the sound of a band by playing somebody else's numbers. Yeah. You know, you don't have to think about the lyrics or whatever. You know the song by heart anyway, so it's easy like that. But so it was a very helpful and emblematic tune for him, but not so much for me.
Yeah.
On a personal level. Plus, we played quite a bit of cover tunes with him, so I thought that this time around it's nicer to concentrate on the. You know, I'm becoming more and more egocentric as I get older. You know.
People call some people, some people call your music poems when you read throughout the comments. They say, "Oh, you wrote a very nice poem here." When they think about your songs, how do you think about your music? In poems, or is it?
No, but I think, you know, music lyrics are a combo. I think, I've always been a fan of, let's say, Neil Young, and he's like, let's say, Man Needs a Maid, a song that the lyrics are like semi-nonsensical and very childish, but they come together with a very pretty melody and massive orchestration and all that stuff, and it creates this weird mixed emotion, or it gives you mixed signals, and that's what I like about music in general. That it doesn't have to be complicated, but Aha is a great example as well. They're a Norwegian band.
Yeah.
That their songs are, a lot of times they're very melancholy yet happy at the same time. They're very danceable, but then they have this inner sense of some sort of melancholy turmoil. Yeah. And I think that's quite special. So that's what I'm hoping to, you know, to confuse people. You know, that's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
But, you know, there's not enough of us confusers.
Confusers.
But, yeah, indeed.
Are the Black Veil Brides guys also confusers?
I don't know yet.
You will be touring with them?
I only met the fellas.
Oh.
I met them in Los Angeles not too long ago, and only said hi. We're talking about a tour a bit with Andy, the lead singer, and it's early days. It's the honeymoon period, so it'll take a while until we see how it's gonna work out. But I think it's nice because they're a generation younger. Yeah. But they still are old enough to have. We're just actually talking about it. They're old enough to have had a gold album, you know, based on physical sales and stuff, and be there a bit before streaming started or became the norm. So it's there's some similarities between us old farts. So, no, but I think it'll be a good tour, and the same with the opening act. That everybody's doing sort of, they have their dark edge, but they have a bit of gent or whatever you want to call it. The first act, and then Dark Divine, I think they're called.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names. And then Black Veil Brides have their sort of, sort of like goth take on Manowar. They're very like this.
Yeah.
And I think that will be perfect with that kind of thing, in between. A bit more emotional, a bit more velvety, a bit more sentimental and sensual, perhaps.
Yeah.
Than it's not so much, balls to the walls, rock and roll sort of stuff. But I think a good evening should be like that. It's boring if all the acts are exactly the same.
Yeah.
It gets really boring. So I hope that's going to work out. And we're talking about the production and stuff like that now. So it's exciting, and it's a great way. We're playing place like, I think we're going to like Boise, Idaho, and there's a lot of places I've never visited in the States and in Canada as well.
Yeah.
Going to like Quebec and all that. So a lot of new experiences. Seeing Niagara Falls and going to Seattle where we didn't play now. So, a lot of old faces, a lot of friends that it'll be great to say hi to, and hopefully making some new friends in the places I haven't been to before. So it's a vast country. North America is, it takes ages to tour there, and it's nice that that since we're like, touring together, it enables us hopefully to play to a bit bigger audiences, which means also that we can have a full production, the lights and stuff, as opposed to playing really small clubs. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All that yada yada. I think it'll be good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best for that. Also,
me too.
For your Rock am Ring show, I guess it's in a few minutes. Let's say that.
Yeah. It's time is relative. As we're getting older, it's that's the way it goes. But yeah, it's blessed to be back, and it's nice that people have been so sort of respectful for us elderly, and they seem to know some of the songs both by myself and by him. So that's more than I can ask for.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get invited to come again in one of these years, and it's pretty special. It's good to be here.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's good to meet face to face, after all that weird Zoomy thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And take care.
Likewise.
Thank you.